we're told to graph a circle using a little bit of information right here about the diameter of the circle. Now, if you think about what a circle is, a diameter could be any line as long as it goes through the middle. It could be slanted down like this or up or sideways, I don't care. But what we're going to do is we're going to try to imagine this circle right here. And I'm going to plot these 2 points best I can. Let's say this is one of them, -4, -8. And let's say 0, 2, I don't know, is over here. Okay, sure. My drawing does not make a whole lot of sense if you think about the way a graph might look, but leave that alone for a second. You've got a line right here. That's a diameter. It cuts through the center of the circle, which I'll say is right here. And you know, for the standard form of a circle equation, you need to know where the center is located. So I'm going to show you a very easy way to do that. It's just like averaging two test scores together. If I ask where the midpoint x value is, it is simply the average of two x values added together. Just like if I got an A and a C on two tests, and I average their scores, I'm going to get a B. I add them together and divide by 2. So what that turns into in this problem is a midpoint, well, let's see, 1/2 times -4 plus 0. Okay, so that's going to be -2. That's my x midpoint. My y midpoint is going to be the same idea. The average of the two y values, those endpoints of the diameter. So we'll do that. Let's see, that's going to be 1/2. The y values are -8 and +2. Okay, so that's going to be -6. 1/2 is -3. All right, so that's the center of my circle. That's going to be located at h is -2, y is -3. That's right here. So -2, -3. Now, just in the interest of making some room, I'm going to wipe that out. If you still need those, just scroll back a little bit in the video. And now, if you remember, standard form of a circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Well, I have h, I have k. All I need now is r. So we're going to have to go through a little bit of work to find r, but it's not hard. All we have to know is the diameter, like the length of the diameter, and then we'll be able to figure out the length of the radius just by cutting it in half. So what I'm going to use is going to be familiar to anybody who's done trigonometry before. You imagine sort of a triangle like this. Okay, and then we're going to use Pythagorean's theorem to figure out what the length of that diameter is. I need to know what the sides of the triangle are, so let's put those on here. You can see one of those sides is, let's see, from -8 to 2. That looks like a side length of 10, and the other side is a side length of 4. So if I want to figure out the radius of this thing, well, that's going to be a little tricky. That's going to be, the diameter squared, which is the length of that triangle, hypotenuse, equals 4 squared plus 10 squared. Okay, so that's going to be 116, and I want the square root of that. So I'm going to figure out what d is by taking the square root of 116, which if we simplify that thing, I don't trust myself to do this in my head, I'm going to try it anyway. 2 radical 29. I think that's pretty close. That should be it. Okay, so that's my d value, which means my r value is going to be 1/2 that. It's going to be radical 29. So that's what goes in here. Even if it's a radical sign, that's fine. Just stuff it in the box. And now I can figure out the standard form equation of the circle. That's going to be x, let's see, h, we already got that one. That was -2. So I flip that sign. Y, flip a sign again. It's going to be +3 squared. And this d squared term was 116. R is square root 29. So r squared is just going to be 29 without the square root. That is my standard form of the circle. That's what I pop in here. Okay, drawing this thing, not hard. You just put the center down on the graph. Remember, you have to mark the center in these graphs. And then you put the circle on there by dragging the cursor, this little guy, out to a point that matches something else on the graph. So here's a point right here that matches the circle. -4, -8 is another one. Remember, we were given these at the beginning, so you know these points. Draw points out there and trace your circle, and your picture should look something a little nicer than that.